Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a really fascinating turn, looking at the work of actor and teacher Eric Morris, a man who spent, nearly 6 decades trying to answer the biggest question in performance, the how.
It's a huge mission. And Morris isn't some, fringe theorist. He graduated from Northwestern way back in '54. He did 50 equity plays and spent 8 years at the Actors Studio. I mean, he walked the same path as the legends.
But he felt that path was broken. His frustration with all the classic instruction, it led him to his own system, documented in 7 books. And it's all based on this one provocative claim that's really guiding our entire deep dive today.
Yeah, the claim is that he doesn't teach people how to act.
He teaches them how not to act.
It's a total paradox. So our mission here is to figure out how he even got there. What was this fundamental missing link that he saw that the big acting systems like the Method just, failed to supply for 100 years?
Okay, let's unpack that. I mean, if he had the credentials, if he came from the Method, what was so wrong with it that he had to dedicate his entire life to building something new?
Well, it was never the what that bothered him. It was the how, the mechanism of execution. His career really starts in Hollywood in 1957, and he knows the world, but all the instruction he's getting is just general, it's intellectual.
All theory, no roadmap.
Exactly. Morris said he was just haunted by this search for a process. A teacher would say, reach an authentic, organic, emotional place and then tell him to just recall it.
But how?
But how? How do you make that recall effective? How do you trigger it on demand, truthfully, without faking it? No one gave him a technique you could repeat.
That's the classic problem, right? It's like telling a painter, be passionate, instead of handing them the specific brush and showing them the stroke. It's the mechanics of it all.
It is. And for him, the first breakthrough, he says, came from Martin Landau.
Oh.
Landau was a protege of Lee Strasberg, and Morris talks about him with just profound respect. He said Landau gave him the first alphabet of technique. It moved him from A to E. Finally, he had the start of a real how.
And that idea, moving from theory to actual application, that's relevant to any field, really. But for acting, the application is literally your own internal life. And that's where it gets, I think, much deeper than just craft.
And this is where Morris makes a fundamental break with the master himself, with Lee Strasberg. Morris saw Strasberg as a genius, someone who knew more about theater history and theory than basically anyone, but...
There's but?
A big one. In Morris's view, Strasberg was severely limited by his own emotional obstacles.
What does that mean? That he wasn't willing to follow the idea all the way to its logical conclusion?
Precisely. Morris claims Strasberg was, and this is a quote, terrified of crossing the line between art and, psychology or therapy.
Yeah.
There's this story Morris tells about an actor who started talking about a really personal issue that came up during a scene. And Strasberg just cut him off, said, stop, I don't want to hear about it, save it for your therapist.
So Strasberg built a wall between the actor's personal baggage and the work. And Morris's whole system is about tearing that wall down.
That's it. And that leads us straight to his most controversial idea, instrumental therapy work.
Okay.
And what's so fascinating is that the goal isn't therapy. It's not clinical treatment. The goal is artistic liberation. Morris's point is that there is no separation between your life and your acting. If you're tense or fearful in your life, that's what your instrument, the actor, is going to be on stage.
So instrumental therapy isn't about diagnosing you. It's about identifying all the things that are clogging up the creative channel. He's trying to free the instrument.
That's exactly right. The instrument for him is the whole package. Your mind, your body, your voice, your emotions. And the therapy work is about removing the obstacles, the fears, the tension, the weird vocal habits. And these 2 terms he uses, isms and compensations.
Okay, let's define those because that sounds pretty technical. What's an ism or a compensation?
They're basically the subconscious defenses we all build up. An ism could be a vocal tic or a way you fidget, a fixed behavior that kills spontaneity. A compensation is a defense mechanism. Like maybe you learn to be overly cheerful to hide being uncomfortable.
Or you hold yourself a certain way to not feel vulnerable.
Exactly. And the character you're playing might not have any of those things, but they leak into your performance because you, the actor, haven't freed yourself from them in your own life.
That sounds incredibly personal. I can see why he got so much criticism for it.
You said he was mocked for years.
Oh, for 10, 15 years, absolutely. The critics were brutal. They made his class sound like some group therapy session. Lay on the couch and talk about your mother.
So what changed? The criticism kind of just vanished. It happened when huge movie stars started publicly crediting him for their breakthroughs. The results, you could see them on screen. That was the validation.
So all this deep psychological work is to allow the actor to become what he calls a professional experiencer.
Yes, and this connects right back to that old mystery that Stanislavski left us with 100 years ago.
The idea that the actor must experience in reality what the character is experiencing.
Right. Which sounds profound, but as Morris pointed out, that idea just flew into the ether for a century because nobody defined the how. It was just a nice philosophy.
And Morris claims he supplied the instruction manual, that it's not about some vague emotional recall, it's about being really specific with your choices. So practically, what does that look like?
It's about accountability. In the old method, an actor might be told to remember a time they were sad for a sad scene. Morris demands a much tighter link. First, you figure out the character's specific needs, say. The character has to feel rejected by an authority figure right now.
So the actor has to go into their own life and find a parallel experience.
A specific parallel experience. You use your own life as a toolbox of choices that match what the character needs. It's not just sadness. It's remembering the time your teacher rejected your idea or when your parent dismissed your dream.
So you're not faking the emotion. You're stimulating a real one using your own history.
You're stimulating it organically, and that turns memory from this, vague thing into a precise technical tool.
That is a huge difference.
And that precision is what leads to the structure of his whole system. He basically organizes everything into two big sections to deal with this duality.
Right. Section 1 is the instrument. That's the actor themselves, mind, body, voice. That's the liberation part, the instrumental therapy.
And section 2 is the craft. This is the practical side, the techniques you need to deal with the actual script. He lays out 7 major obligations that an actor has to meet in any scene.
Okay, let's touch on those obligations.
Hooray.
Because this is the roadmap that he felt was missing for so long.
Well, they include things like time and place, where and when is this happening, relationship, character, emotional life. And he's clear that these are non-negotiables. You have to deal with them.
So take relationship.
Mm.
If the script says you have a tense relationship with your brother, how does his craft guide you past just acting tense?
The craft demands that you define the specific history of that relationship, even if it's not in the script. You create the shared memories, the good and the bad. Then the instrument work comes in. You pick choices from your own life that parallel that history to generate a real response to the other actor. You're not pretending.
You're channeling something analogous from your own life. It sounds exhausting, but, incredibly effective.
It's the full integration of the two parts. He even has a historical obligation. He says if you're doing a play from 50 years ago, you have to account for how different the social rules, the language, the whole pace of life was. Otherwise, it just looks modern and fake.
It's a completely holistic approach. And what's so wild is that this guy, this man, so committed to defining the how, never even meant to be an actor or a teacher in the first place.
Not at all. His first plan was totally different. He was going to be a professional photographer.
So what happened?
There was a moment, it was 1948 or 49, he's about 17. His brother's working backstage on the musical Finian's Rainbow in Chicago.
Okay.
And he's just sitting in the theater waiting. The overture starts, and when the dancers finally jump on stage and he says his eyes got as big as 2 soft-boiled eggs, it was just this pure, visceral moment.
An epiphany.
A total epiphany. That emotional connection was so powerful, he says he's never done anything else since that time. He still tears up talking about it.
Wow. And then teaching was also an accident.
Just as accidental. After Martin Landau left to go film Cleopatra in Rome, Morris felt totally lost. He was broke, depressed, working as a mechanic's apprentice.
He'd been given the first few letters of the alphabet, and then his teacher was gone.
Exactly. Then a fellow student called him up and just said, "You should teach." Her logic was that teaching it would force him to figure it out for himself to promote his own growth. And he said, bingo, light went off. It was never about a career. It was about his own path to mastery.
He found his own liberation by teaching others to find theirs. And the dedication is just staggering. 57 years of teaching without a break.
It's an incredible focus. He did explore directing for a bit, a few plays, but then he saw a director working on some, generic sitcom from that era and found the work so unfulfilling that he just walked away from it. He knew his real work was in the classroom.
And if we connect that back to the idea of instrumental therapy, it all makes sense. It's not just about acting. It's rooted in this bigger idea that living is an art.
Morris argues that acting training just brings out this deep human desire we all have for freedom of self-expression. Life kind of, beats us down with constraints and habits. His system is designed to repair the human being.
Which is why his real fulfillment doesn't come from money or fame, but from letters he gets from students he taught 35 years ago.
Yeah, letters describing how the work changed their lives, how it made them more open, happier people. The art of acting became the art of living.
It's this commitment to never being finished. That's his idea of mastery, right?
Yeah.
It's not a destination.
It's lifelong work.
Yeah.
He uses the analogy of a master juggler. You have to juggle every single day for the rest of your life.
Oh.
It's the practice.
And he lives it. I mean, he still works with a 93-year-old psychiatrist every Friday to work on his own stuff, to break through and liberate himself after writing 7 books on it.
The humility is just... It's incredible. He insists he's not a writer, just someone who writes. It all comes down to these 2 credos he lives by.
What are the 2 pillars? What are they?
First one, stay hungry and keep reaching. Always assume there's a deeper level you haven't hit yet.
And the second?
Never get self-impressed. The moment you think you've got it all figured out is the moment you stop growing.
It all feeds back into his ultimate philosophy for everyone. That our main responsibility, from birth to death, is to elevate your consciousness.
And for him, the very specific technical process of becoming an actor, of defining the how, is one of the most direct ways to do that in life.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Whether you're an artist or an executive, the journey of Eric Morris shows that this quest for a technical roadmap for the how in any complex field can actually unlock this profound personal liberation. The journey of mastering a craft becomes the journey of becoming fully human.
What really stands out is this belief among true masters that the work is just never done. Morris told these 2 beautiful stories that capture it. One was about meeting a master artist, Abel G. Warshawski, whose amazing paintings were all hidden away in a cabinet. They weren't on the walls.
Why would he hide his own work?
Because if he looked at them every day, all he would see were the flaws, the little things he still had to improve. And seeing them would stop him from painting the next one. The striving was everything.
Wow. And there was another one about a musician.
A virtuoso musician, yeah. Someone asked him if he felt he'd finally achieved mastery, and the musician just said, "No, I can't say that. I'm still looking for that one note that I haven't found yet."
That one note. The pursuit of it is perpetual. The destination is always just a new beginning. I guess that's the real art of living, isn't it? The process of finding that next note, not the final performance.